Hello. Hello,
Hello,
Gale.
James.
Hello, Gale. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for welcoming me, because we're going back and forth into each other's worlds here. Two storytellers, or in a way like two dungeon masters in various dungeons, going back and forth, or various worlds, or various world makers, or however you want to say it. Two people writing and being written about at the same time. And it's actually all of our characters together. Wow, that was a lot. How you doing?
I'm fine, just chilling up here in my apartment, taking it easy.
Cool, excellent.
It's the start of October, my favorite month.
Is your favorite month?
Say that again?
Is it because of Halloween and just the end of the year kind of feeling, or?
Yes,
That's nice. I have found it to be very beautiful out. We've done the last little bits of things in the garden, planting last. The sun is almost weirdly like too perfect, like just the golden aspect of the sun in the middle.
I know
of
it
the
doesn't
winter.
want to go.
Well, even in the middle of in the middle of the day, it almost seems like kind of at the end of the day, in the middle of the day, and the sun's out still. It's like I feel like I'm living in a postcard. It's amazing. Well, anyway, friend, let's see. I mean, celebrate the time of the year we're in. We've been doing this kind of campaign, the public part of it. We've been doing it for several years, and even longer, years and years, depending on how you want to look at it. But as far as this part of it, it's about a year old this month. That's when I got together with Elder Jeff, and we were doing our thing, which ended up being kind of the frame of a lot of these. So, a lot to say. Basically, should we? Oh, you go ahead, Fred.
Yeah, I think it's whenever we play together, you give such freedom to go beyond just regular. Even when we were following more simplified rules and playing things like D&D, we didn't let the rules bog down the story itself if we were telling a scenario.
I think we've got a good handle on what is considered like pedestrian or quotidian stuff and what is the main stuff. So that if we need to get somewhere, it's not going to be a big hassle and take a long time to figure out. Well, we have to go to the marketplace and get ourselves a horse. Like we could just say we have a horse, Or we could even just say we zip to the other place, depending on how we want to do it. Now, obviously, we could make a whole thing out of things like that. We both have had times where that kind of fun, like everydayness can come to the game where it's not everything epic. But really, the way we go about it, especially lately, is just to really exercise our power and right, and maybe even duty at this point, to tell the story as if we could write the whole world, and then you're doing the same thing. And then these characters that we have made up, feel free to be like lost in these worlds, even though it's part of us that also has a lot more volition in what the world is. I like how we balance it. I like how it channels out. I like how we mostly both riff on something that doesn't have a plan.
Right, I mean, that's what I like about doing improv,
Yeah.
Is that aspect of it. I really wanted to bring some gaming style improv to the stage, but it's having a little trouble figuring out how to name it and how to set it up. Though I have a few places in mind, putting together like an idea is a lot harder than it seems.
Well, it always depends on like who you can work with and what everyone is doing, what you want to do on that level. I mean, the fact that we've gotten through the time of COVID years ago, being online is even more normal to us than it was, say, when I met my partner Kathy and my wife Kathy, almost 20 years ago. Like, it was different then. I mean, the aspect of the internet was different then. But, and we keep moving. There's nothing right or wrong about any of it. It's just different kinds of things.
You know, it's weird thinking about it for me because, you know, I grew up homeless from my home. I was suddenly jettisoned into the world. The internet was my only outlet to find places to sleep. So I only was ever on the internet in an attempt to find some kind of boarding of some sort.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, not crazy, but I'm sure that is the way a lot of people are, but that's why you were. So, what years was this? This is like the early 21st century, or was it earlier than that?
Oh, man. So I left my mother's house in 2000, and yeah, I left my mother's house in 2000. I spent a year with my grandmother. She passed away of cancer. And then I was just on the street. Ended up in Chicago.
And then I met you in 2007. That's when I met you. Or 2008, really. So those are the years that a lot of the story that we're probably going to be able to publish pretty soon. I told you about that off camera, but you know, we a lot of those years would be like some of the times that was. Because I know how we kind of did it, kind of timelessness. There was like a timeless element where it could happen any particular time. I mean, obviously, the Dungeons and Dragons world and other role-playing games were in the background. So that gives you a certain idea that it's in the recent times. It's not like 100 years ago, but it could have been 100 years ago. Like, a lot of it had, yeah.
And you didn't and kind of part of it when I asked when we were writing Xaltia'n in the first place, I was like, you know, you never tried to place the characters in a position where they were forced to recognize reality.
Right.
Like the theme of him being mentally disabled is in the story, but it never presses that his disability is the reason why Xaltia'n exists.
Right. It's never pathologized in the same way I think that it could be, depending on how you were going to write it.
I feel like when I reread it, it's like, okay, it kind of sounds like this world is coming from a place of trauma through the abuse and the cat attack and the stepfather stuff, which were all aspects of my real life, but like woven in together for like Penn's ultimate like whoa kind of story.
Totally. Keep going.
And in his suffrage there, I felt like in that story, that's kind of where Xaltia'n came from, was that escapism.
It's kind of like what a lot of people do, even when they're going through things of less pain. Like, you know, even people who just have relatively comfortable lives, they'll still want to escape what they're going through. But certainly with those of us that have gone through like a lot of hard mental stuff or hard experiential stuff, family abuse, things like that, you start to see that all that together, the way Dungeons and Dragons has functioned, the way other role-playing games has functioned, really can be as sacred and as freeing and as healing and as like almost like therapy or any other kind of thing as you want it to be, because it really becomes community. We've all supported each other through these creations and also then knew each other through that. It's just great to be able to like have it be in our own hands to do as we will with it and not be beholden to any particular way you're supposed to do it. You know, it's not that we're playing one game or another game. We're just channeling the kind of dream that we're coming up with.
Yeah. It's far out, man.
It is far out, man. It really is. I'm really excited. I'm grateful to you, and obviously to Elder Miguel, Vice Pastor Sabrina, Elder Jeff, Elder Jeff. Like, there's been a lot of people that have done it. And then you go back in time with all our old friends. Like, we have done some really great stuff, and we've written some of it down, and now we're starting to get to the point where we start to share that stuff with others, and it's to invite people into what we're doing so that they or make people comfortable to do it with their friends and let them all do what we're doing. We have circles of people who take it seriously what they do and also have fun with it. Well, at that point, I was wondering if you want to maybe play the game or maybe do the recap or however you want to do it.
Okay, so let's see. Yeah, let's go. Is it better where I start or what we do?
Not at all. Let me make sure I've got the kind of things we need. So let me look at aspects of looking at dice, etc. Let me see. I've got an 8-sided dice. I got 2 6-sided dice. Just letting you know what kind of dice I have. A lot of times what we do is we'll do it with the dice we have available, even if it's not, like proper. Let me see. I've got another 10-sided dice.
I saw some really nice dice in a store I want to get.
Oh, nice.
Check. I'm going to find my way back down there and grab them.
That's great. I think dice are the funnest things. They always were.
I also like coins and playing cards.
Well, I'll tell you what I have now. I don't seem to have any 20-sided dice. I don't seem to have any 12-sided dice. I did, but I don't seem to have it now. But what I do have is 4 6-sided dice, 1 8-sided dice, and 1 10-sided dice. That's what I seem to have. If that's going to be enough, if we could play with that, I would be happy.
So, all of those total up to what?
Well, it depends on what. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I got some other dice. I got 3 more 6-sided dice. So I got a total of 7 6-sided dice. I've got a 10-sided die. I got an 8-sided die. I got a 20-sided die, and I got another 20-sided die. So we got everything. If you want to just do 20-sided dice, we're good. However you want to do it. I had the 12-sided die, but I can't find it right now.
Alrighty.
So, all that to basically say, I think I'm going to put the flag up that's what we decided. Those are the dice you want. Let me know how you want me to play from. What dice do you want me to have?
Okay, let's establish you as that 20-sided die.
Okay, I've got 2 20-sided, and one is kind of a blue, and one is kind of a gray-green.
Yeah, pick which one you want to represent you.
I think I want the gray-green. You should have the blue, because you like blue.
You could just use the other one to represent any other NPC or other character.
Right. So the blue will be other people, and I'll be the gray.
And you have a bunch of 4-sided dice?
I don't have any 4-sided dice around. I had one a while back, and I had 12-sided dice a while back. But the only ones I don't have those. But I have 7 6-sided, regular 6-sided dice. I've got 1
6-sided dice,
and I've got 1 8-sided, and I've got 1 10-sided, so like a percentage die. And then I've got the two, which will be 1 and the other 20-sided. So I don't have a 4-sided, and I don't have a 12-sided.
Use the dice?
Yes, friend. I'm gonna. I'm gonna set this as a thing.
I'd say find a space, set all the other dice aside, and just keep the 2 20-sided dice out.
Okay, then 2 20-sided dice it will be.
Make both of them point to 20.
Say it one more time.
Make them both face 20 up, like 20-side face up.
Oh, do you want me to put the 20s and they both side 20? Give me a moment, I'll do it. Let me find the 20. Okay, there's a 20. And we will now have, let's see, a 20. Where's the 20? There it is, the 20. Okay, I got 20s on both.
Alright, so instead of thinking of these as dice, think of them as counters.
Okay.
So 20 is the highest number, and as you would take damage or lose points or whatever, what might happen, you would mark the dice lower.
Okay.
So if you lose 2 points, you would make 18 face up.
I got you. I understand what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Cool, friend.
So the Nancy spider is crawling between 2 bricks along the inner prison chamber in Xaltia'n Castle. He finds his way deeper inside between another patch of bricks, where he finds a wooden plank. On the other side of the wooden plank is a pipe in which he has fashioned a web. He fashions the web vertically down a long corridor of the castle connected to this pipe and plank. Then it veers off from the wall, and he follows the piping. He continues to make a web down the piping along a brick wall. And he had been slowly working genteelly for a while. And as times passed and as good and bad days passed, he had formed a fairly good web that made up the majority of the interior of the castle.
Wow, I love it. Well,
and on his last stitch, he finds his way back near the beginning brick that he was sandwiched between, initially making his final thread connecting the entire castle.
Is this the cell that Cassandra and Tobit were in?
Yes.
Are they still there, or are they in where they were just about to go?
It's late now. It's the middle of the night, it would seem. They're sleeping spooned together on the small bed that they are inhabiting.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
And the spider rides a web like the way spiders can kind of fly if they use it, right? They spin them out from their hands and they just ride it. Ride the webs of magnetism of the world. I read an article about that last year. And kind of like settle like close to kind of on the bedpost besides Cassandra and Tobit, and puts a little bit of web kind of in the space in between quarks and atoms and stuff that I can really see by becoming even smaller. Put the web in between where their heads are touching, where they're like, cuddling on each other and kind of falling asleep, and weave a web around their hair a little bit and leave it kind of in between, kind of a hyperspace between the real where the web is and where it folded into in space and time, to try to let them remember or feel what I have done over the last little bit of months around this whole castle. In other words, they'll feel the web.
All right, and do you see them moving and jerking in their sleep, and their eyes are twitching as they seem to be recalling in dream state the work you've done?
That's what I would like to. I'm so glad that part of my spider and another part of the spider is one spider, because I was hoping they would start to think of it in dreams, and maybe I then spin toward them a kind of idea of the map, what the most important things are. I weave in something about the Guff of Souls, the place where the children are fading, that place. And
as you try, okay. So as you try to do that, you feel resistance all of a sudden. Roll 2 6-sided dice.
Okay. Let's see. Six. I have a white and a blue die, so it's white 5 and blue 1. 6
Okay,
total.
consider that your roll another 2 6-sided die.
Okay. They got 5 on the blue, 6 on the white, so they have 11.
Oh, so you get hurt. Roll 1 6-sided die.
Okay. I got 1 point.
So mark down your 20-sided dice to 19.
Okay.
Your web feels like it was plucked by a finger, and you hear the voice of the Archimandrite. How dare you? She ushers out in agony.
So I see okay, so I start to realize that is where, so that's where in other words, the Archimandrite controls this castle in the same physical kind of way that I achieve when I put a web everywhere. Evidently, I spin a web around all that, and I kind of like put sensing tendrils kind of into it, and generally try to figure out what the connection between the Archimandrite, where I know where that person is, and the power of that, and the connection between the power of that Guff of Souls place. So I see of all the places, all the nodes of interest of what the Archimandrite, I look specifically between the Archimandrite, the place between that and that room, the Well of Souls, the Guff of Souls.
And you found a very protected place you're talking about, enough that, okay, so I'm going to consider this your attack phase in which you roll 2 6-sided die.
Okay. Let me see. Oh my god, I got 3.
Ooh, 3.
3 is the I roll.
Mark the other 20-sided dice down by 3.
Time out. My adversary or myself?
The other dice, the adversary, the other 20-sided dice.
So from 20 down to 17.
Okay. And you
Okay.
hear a wailing of the Archimandrite. The pain.
I start to see that the pain of the Archimandrite is influenced by the pain of the whole castle, by the trauma of the minds that made it, and that something in the Guff of Souls is really, really. I will ask one more question as I feel things. Is there any stronger connection between the Archimandrite and any other node in this place, like Chianta's bedroom, or the place that has the plaques, the Arcane Maelstrom in the library? Is there any other place in this entire castle that is more stronger of a connection between the Archimandrite than the Archimandrite?
I'll, for the sacrifice of one of your counters,
Yes.
I'll tell you.
That's fine, I'll do it. I go down to 18.
And as you do it, you kind of cry and you hear her squeal, and you see that her only control is within that room, and she's reaching with her hands out towards you. But she can't move very far because she's still kind of technically imprisoned in this place she is, in this seat, in her suffering. But she's reaching out to you. She's not in control of the castle in any way, or in any of the other inhabitants.
I blow a little bubble of silk and send it, and in this is this mindset of, I bid you, I wish I could help your pain. Is there anything you wish me to not do?
Roll 2 opposing 6-sided dice.
2 opposing, okay. Which one is me and which one is Would you say white or blue is me?
I say if you could roll 2 dice and get the same number, you would be on solid ground. One number off from it would be partial comprehension.
So I got a 1 and a 2. So let me roll and try to get a 1 and a 2 again.
So I say a 1.
I got a 1 and a 2. I got the same thing back again. I rolled exactly the same thing. That's what you were saying, right?
Right.
Well, good. I rolled a 1 and a 2, friend.
Okay, so I would have to give her turn, which she's reaching out with her hand and almost like a fist grabs a twisted finger of tendrils related to the Guff, and she balls them in her fists. You know what I mean? She's not really doing it physically because she's entrapped, but she's doing it.
I just want to make a moment. No one remembered this. It was the last episode before we started doing this last year of actually recording them for people. But the last scene was that we were all grabbed by a large hand, which although I hadn't thought this was anything to do with it, maybe this is actually the reason. So I'm just thinking about that. Do you remember how we were all grabbed by a hand to be brought into the crypt from which we went into the AI city, from which you have gone all these different places? So anyway,
doing that, so if you roll her 2, or just like for you, roll her 2 6-sided dice.
Do I have to try to roll a 2 and a 1 again?
Well, this is for her turn.
So what is she rolling for? Like anything?
2 6-sided dice.
Oh, she's trying to match her own self?
She's trying to twist up the tangle you created in the castle to snap a chunk of them related to the Guff.
Let's see. I got 1 and 2. Dude, this is weird. I keep getting 1 and 2.
So you rolled a 3. So now you in defense roll a 6-sided die.
Any kind? 5. I roll a 5.
All right. So, and then you were after. So she doesn't get away with it. Her fingers stumble along the crevice of the brick wall and can't reach the tendrils you've made.
A lot of times a spider won't sigh, but I do. I wipe one of my brows with one of my legs and go, "Whoo! That was close."
She says, "Nothing could ease my pain." She says it slow and long.
Oh man. Well, I put up another thought bubble. I weave a little bubble and I throw it out into the universe. If it hits her, great. If it also goes beyond her, it just kind of hits the membrane of all the telepathic thoughts that are going on in the entire space of Xaltia. And I asked the question, where's Penn now? I just kind of look for Penn's presence somewhere in there.
And you see Penn is near where she had reached for tendrils to grab. There is a space in which she's kept here. A room.
I look at the room and I put it together with the rest of what I see. Do I have any web near that room?
Yeah.
I follow toward that place and I go close to it. And I, put my little hands up and my little paws, and I feel the energies around that web part by that room. And what do I feel is inside that room?
You hear a song playing.
What kind of song?
I fall to pieces each time I see you with him.
I feel deeper in to the words, and I try to feel in between the words and the person, and try to find the memories that are inspiring that music.
And it comes back to your thing. I fall to pieces. I fall to pieces. I fall to pieces. You hear it in Penn's voice repeating it. I fall to pieces. I fall to pieces.
Well, I memorize where I take a kind of a screenshot, if you will, of that area of Built Castle where that is. I put it like kind of a little web marks the spot. I draw through the mesh web I put everywhere back to Cassandra and Tobit as they're laying there, and I again put the same little web around their little minds and have them think about that's where Penn is, that's where Penn is, that's where Penn is, and I just like.
Okay, and as you do that, you hear again, why long you draw out, why do you interfere, let's say, and you get attacked. Roll 2 6-sided die.
Okay, should they be different colors or the same color?
It doesn't matter.
I've been using blue for me, I'll use white for them, so.
Just 2 6-sided dice for them.
I'll do it. They get 1 and 2 again, this is crazy. I just keep rolling 1 and 2.
And defense, roll a 6-sided die.
Myself?
Yeah.
Okay. I get 2.
And she hollers and she's angry and she says, why do you keep disturbing? I scatter out of there, and I keep that part of the web, and I slide through realities, and I find the place where Penn is, not in the little room, but where the Xibalba held that we left him. You find a little pipe and you shimmy inside of it, and you kick your way up this thin pipe, and it pulls you through fast, and it pops out, and you're on the other side of the pipe, and it's inside of Hut.
And I come out, and
you see Penn is standing there. He's facing a wall. He's just leaning against a wall, and there's a bunch of demons outside tormenting him.
I just keep doing that, kind of from a little, and then sending that out as like waves of comfort, and just trying to send tiny little almost web, but not quite, like more like particles of calm and comfort to Penn. And then I, at the same time, put a little eye, one of my 8 eyes, and I look back, and the ones in the back of my head, and I look back to all the little times and spaces I've gone through, and to see if there's any connection between this hell and the place in the castle that Penn's supposed to be. Are they, in fact, some-dimensionally the same place? Or are they actually different? Or how else might it be?
There is a connection, and it's found where Penn is in Xaltia.
So in order to help Penn here in Xibalba, I'm going to have to go back to Xaltia and get him out of Xaltia. I'm thinking.
There's something there, yeah. He has to use the stone altar.
Okay. Well, I zip out again and kind of go into the web of webs beyond all reality, and kind of look at the 2 bubbles, this little Xaltia world and this other little Xibalba world. And I look way over there at that city of AI that's in some other place. And I look way the far out where that crypt is. And I look way the far out where that vision of the goddess being destroyed by the red dragon is being controlled by that Harmony Neanderthal priestess. And I also throw a web out toward where, out of game Elder Jeff, but in game, Saint Marta is talking to Aurelia and Ranzo Ray, who is a Neanderthal, used to be friends with Harmony Farm. And I see all this stuff together, and I throw other webs out and other things we haven't even talked about, other worlds, including a person sitting in front of a computer talking on a phone to a friend who might be doing the same thing. And like all this stuff, I'd like just feeling all together, and I just kind of sit there in the middle of that web and feel the energy of everything, and kind of just stop being the spider at this point in the game until it's time to be the spider again.
All right, and then a single web, he drops down, and his wings wiggle as he ends up on the shoulder of Isabella, where they're all standing ready to leave at the gates of Xaltia'n town. They're prepping their exit, and they're all just simply discussing a few things with Xaltia'n and Mir, who has joined them.
Whoa. Everybody got their cigarettes? I seem to keep on getting more in these 3 cartons I've got. Well, cartons, I mean, they're boxes, but...
Xaltia'n looks interested. He's like, actually, I could actually, could I put 1 or 2 of those, actually?
You could have one, you could have all 3. Would you want a regular, a clove, or a menthol this time? I know you really hated the menthol.
I like the menthol one.
You had a hard time with it last time, but here it is.
I've acclimated.
You get used to it.
He's like a pro now. He likes a cigarette, he's smoking, he's a pro now.
Well, is everybody else, let's see, what is, if you were to look at it almost like a party of people doing something, or a party that we could all have, or a party that we could elect into office starring ourselves, like this party that we all are. I'm not sure why I say party, but here I am with my cigarettes. There's Xaltia'n, who I've met. There's Mir, who I don't know as well, but you're a bad-looking sort.
And then next to there's Tobit and Cassandra, of course.
Yes. Yeah. And is there anyone else?
Just us. Xaltia's looking kind of awkward. He's like, "Are you feeling all right?"
I'm fine. I can't wait to go on with. I have a thought. I don't know, baby. I sometimes think that I was dreaming of you, and you were dancing along a web, and you were dancing along kind of through a bunch of pipes, and you kind of saw the whole castle. Yes, almost like we had the same dream. Amazing. Well, I all of a sudden understand. It seems like if we're gonna free our friend Penn, we might want to go north by southwest and up that castle minaret over there, the southeastern one.
Mir looks confused. You have directions.
Yes, I've had a dream, and sometimes with my dreams, I shared with my baby here. We see it together in a totally new way. I almost want to write it down, or maybe I could write it down. I wonder if anyone else thinks that way. But in any case, even if you don't think that way, you will in a moment, because I'll be done telling you, and then you'll have thought the way I thought. So let me waste no time. We have to free our friend Penn, and we have to get through the mist to the stone circle. Is there any way we could do both? Yes, Isabella, is there any way we could do both? I don't know. I just think we should get to the stone circle. I don't really think we actually need to do anything else. Yes, but you don't remember Penn. Penn's our friend. We were kind of out of it at the time. For quite a number of times, actually. Yeah, I don't remember much about that. I just remember that we should get out of this world somehow.
Well, Xaltia'n says, "I'm with Isabella."
Well, I'm with me. I'm with Cassandra. I guess it's up to you, friend Mir?
Sending only 2 people into the mist is risky. but they seem to be well acquainted. Smoking buddies. She says that she has kind of a irritated look on her face.
Well,
She goes,
I don't mean to say I wouldn't come with. It just seems that we should do something about Ben. But I'll come with. Yeah, I don't want to just stay here in the castle. We'll end up in that. We'll end up in the cell again, and then again, and then again, and then again. Then
I
again.
assure you, Pen is locked up tight and safe in a room beneath the castle. He isn't going anywhere.
Is this
Here's
Mir? This is Mir?
Yeah.
Oh, well, can we visit him before we go?
Visit him?
Yes.
I do not believe that is possible. The Archimandrite has strictly prohibited any connection with the prisoner.
Oh, well, listen, Cassandra, I think, yes, I think that we should, we'll take advantage of what I've already said. We've been trained as paladins, at least I have. Xaltia'n already was. I believe Mir, friend, I don't know you that well, but I can see you're in the same armor as my friend Xaltia'n, and the armor that I have, by God, look at me. I used to have that little trench coat, but look at me now. I could look quite fetching. Anyone else need a cigarette? I've been convinced of Isabella's. Yeah, me too. We're all with you guys. Send 4 of us or 5 of us into the mist. I don't know why my cigarette is bubbling.
I had the same thought as you. Sorry about the quiet moment.
Not at all. This is the time that probably the last time we'll all be at peace. I can see that we're going into a place of great danger. I wouldn't worry about it, Cassandra. I'm a paladin now.
Mir rambles off a collection of dangers, and Xaltia'n kind of shakes them off as not big deals. She seems to take it as it's very dangerous, while Xaltia'n is pretty passive about it.
Isabella's taking notes on, could you say that middle one again? The 3-headed what?
Pardon me?
Comrade, Mir, if you could just continue to talk about the dangers so I can write them down.
You can lose your sanity in the mist. You could forget things. You could end up places you didn't want to be and not know how to leave. There is no direct path in the mist. There is no circling back. There's no turning back. There's only moving forward and then coming to your destination, knowing where you're going to go.
Which I believe, if I can put it in my own words, at the stone circle, all these journeys will end.
It would be that simple if it wasn't for the miasma. The miasma is a dark mist, one that whittles its way within the mist itself. It is very dangerous. It'll take your most wicked thoughts, your most deepest fears, and turn them into physical realities, and they will attack you.
My goodness. Yeah. Tobit, don't you think that the landfill has a similarity to this miasma, and even the mist, but definitely the miasma? In the sense that Melchizedek and you and the rest of us work together to discover it, all the suppressed thoughts, all the nervousness, all the angers, all the secret rages or unspeakable rages, all those things. In fact, Melchizedek said to me some point that everything is based on the 3 poisons, which is attraction, aversion, and ignorance. And that's what all that became, the landfill. Do you think it has anything to do with the similar thing going on with the miasma? Well, I don't think these people know what the landfill is, Tobit.
Xaltia'n says, I know what a landfill is.
Do you?
It's where you bury garbage.
Yes. In our world, in the city of AI where we come from, most of our planet has become this landfill. And only the very large city, very nice city, mostly clean city, a nice city, but that's the only thing we have. There are other settlements that are deeper in, but we had to discover them together.
He looks a little confused. He looks at you again. You said you were... Did you say that you were beyond the real gem?
Oh, I thought we've already talked about that. We might not have talked about it this time. Oh, but for all time, it's been talked about. We'll talk about it again. Yes, we're from beyond the real gem.
Sorry.
That's great. I think it's not whether it's great or not. It's truth. We're from beyond the real gem. That's why that has nothing to do with why what we look like is in our eyes very normal, but for you, it's very different. You're very solid, and the world's misty. It scares you. We're misty by your standards. Maybe that will help us get through it. Exactly. I've been thinking about this too, Cassandra. Well, Isabella, I'm very proud of you. You look quite touching. Thank you. I think so too.
And as you're talking, the mood changes. The city seems to become bleaker, almost a bit overcast. The gates of the city seem to become clearer, but the mist seems to rise higher outside of them. Mir and Xaltia's presence in itself seemed to change too. They stood taller and seemed to hover over you. And Xaltia'n says, "Are you done yapping yet? Have you made your decision?"
Yes, we should go with you.
Mir is also hovering, menacing now as well. We shouldn't be letting them make any decisions. You are our prisoners.
Brothers and sisters, and this is Isabella, like, kind of getting big next to them with the same armor. These guys are great. I can vouch for them.
This is explosive thing. This is explosive thing. I do not understand your strange ways. She says. She gets you the weird look. And then suddenly around them the mood settles as if the clouds had passed and the sun was out again. They seem joyous all of a sudden, and Xaltia'n says, "So, I'm ready to go. Who else is?"
I'm right there with you, friend. I'm ready.
He hurries up down a passageway, and he comes back with a few horses and a carriage.
Sorry, that's not very good. That's not fair. They all mount their horses. Shall we say there's enough for all of them?
It's important, Mir says up close. She said that you pay attention and stay close to the buggy and the horses. Stay close to us. One stray thought will lead you into literal abandonment.
Well, I don't have stray thoughts anymore. As long as I'm smoking, I'm fine. Just follow the smoke, past my nose, past my face, into the world that I follow.
Mir frowns down over her in confusion. Very well. And they usher out, and as you approach the gate, Mir takes from her pocket a small booklet, and she opens it, and under her breath she begins to speak. And it's almost like she's telling a story. Oh, it's a clear morning. The path stretched on up a hill and around a small lake. It took not but an evening of good weather and blah, blah, blah. And as she's speaking that way, the mists kind of clear away from you as if someone huge had taken a big breath and just blew it all away. And as she was kind of describing under her breath, comes to life a somewhat similar path through a small wood, open clearing on a nice day that goes up onto a hill and then around a small lake.
We follow it. The path, I mean.
This continues for a while. She turns page after page. As you reach a foggy distance, she begins to recite some other understanding of something, some other moment. There we were sitting on the edge of the rock together. We kissed gently. Both of our hands touched a slick moth and slipped. We ended up butting heads and falling into the creek. And then there'd be this pathway. They show this creek and giant rock, and it's a nice little woodland thing past a roaring tiny lake or a stream. And as she's rehearsing, we get closer to a mist. Mir stops reading, and you notice a shadowing fogging overhead. Sound's face suddenly looks concerned. He's looking up.
I think we should keep following the smoke, really.
The spider is tickling the tips of her hair as they march along on her shoulder.
Oh, hello, friend.
And it's Penn, and he's in hut. He's touching the wall of hut. Are you there?
And the spider brings the feeling of someone shaking his hand, something that would make him feel that the hut is, and Hut and him are not the only ones on his side. And that's what the spider makes himself manifest on the wall in the corner, kind of with a hidey-ho kind of happy wave of about 4 of his hands, which he may or not get, but he'll get the energy of it.
Oh, he gets all excited. He's like, "Whoa, yeah, I did it!" It's like, "What's happening? What's going on?"
Well, my friend, I believe that you are simultaneously in many places, including
Here. Including right over there in this place inside the book of your mind.
I would suggest
Weaving all
of it together.
in any way you wish to in your book with the pen that is you held by pen writing in the book of whatever you're going to write about. And I try to send a web out to have sparklies fall on his book.
He doesn't have that.
That's what I'm doing. I'm seeing if he could see a vision of it, and maybe he himself will try to grab it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, let's see. So
We're like transcending the reality of even our words right now, but I think it's kind of fun.
Let's try that with 2 dice. Your reality versus his accepted one. Roll pen 2 6-sided die.
Okay, roll pen 2 6-sided, and myself 2.
Just his first.
Okay. 5 altogether. 2 and a 3.
Okay, he'll accept anything higher than a 5 as reality.
With the 2 dice, I'm gonna roll.
So you roll 2 dice.
See, I have to roll this again. It fell down. It came out 4. I got 4, friend. I got 4. I'm sorry to say, I got 4.
Oh dear, he's right there. He's holding onto the wall, and as he's touching the wall, he's touching the grains of it. Each grain starts actually flipping like a page almost. And he thinks of it for a second, and then he's distracted.
I try again.
They're knocking on the door. They're knocking, and they're wanting this and they're wanting that, and I can't answer it.
You gotta come out. You're gonna come out eventually. You're gonna stay there forever. You're gonna come down and do our tests. We have 6 houses, 6 tests. Great tests, 6. Good numbers, and you survive those. We'll give you a prize. A lot of prizes. Yeah, but at least one. Anyway, one of them will be your life. Shut up. Tonight will come. Okay. Yeah, you'll come. You'll like it. You won't die.
Over and over, they've been doing this forever, man. I'm burnt out.
Storyteller comrade, Dungeon Master comrade, of all we are together, I ask you, could I maybe roll again to try that one more time? Can I do it one more time?
Yeah, rewind. The spider grabs his thread, and he begins to backtrack, gobbling up, collecting up a loop of it as he backtracks a long loop of thread as best he can before he gets tired, and he finds himself slightly before that moment.
I roll the dice again. I get 10 this time on 10, and you said, is it still gonna be 5?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, then I got 10.
He's got his head against the wall, and he's listening to the spider, and he's running his fingers along the wood wall, and each one of the granules starts to flip like a page, and he starts to realize that it's like a page. He grabs at one of the wall granules, and he pulls at it, and he's peeling it like wallpaper almost, and he peels it, and it gets bigger, and he peels a big old page open, and he walks through, and he falls into a pond.
Ooh. Oh.
And everyone at the caravan saw a door open and a page open in the middle of nowhere, and he fell into the pond.
Oh, it's Ben. Let's get him.
And Mir laughs and says, because of the way this is written, someone always falls in the pond. I wasn't going to say anything.
Well, I personally am glad to have surprises. Cassandra, Cassandra is running, like doing a swim out to get Penn. Tobit is jumped in after, and they're both going and they're getting Penn, and they're both. Yeah.
Penn's coffee. He's like, get us go. Go. He's trying to swim.
Let's see. Isabella is writing all this down, by the way, scribbling it all down in her charter. And she writes a part where she says, Penn finds his book somehow weirdly dry, just on a branch above the pond. And it's falling, and he's about to catch it or drop it.
And as he's struggling to get out of the water, he grabs upon a branch and pulls himself to shore. And what folded over a branch is his book, dry and ready for him to grab. And he snatches it as he comes up on the shore.
Oh, Penn, how have you been? I haven't seen you in so long.
Oh, we gotta get out of the water.
Well, they've gotten out of the water at this point. I'm sorry.
Then you start hearing this whistle. And there's a big shadow overcast. and a sudden thud of a gigantic hut lands in the water.
Oh, is the hut okay?
And from beneath it's tipped sideways, and you see it has big old chicken feet that they're all just scrambling about.
Come along shore, friends. Let's all get to the shore. Let's build a campfire here. I'm wet, and feels very much like a cat sometimes. I did that to help my friend Penn, but he's found his book, and that's all I ever wanted for him anyway.
Yeah, save. It was weird over there.
What do you remember, friend?
I got hurt somehow, and we ended up crashing down, going down that hole, and they all just tried to get me. They wouldn't come in, but they kept banging at my door, and they kept screaming at me, and they kept wanting me to do things, and they were just saying stuff, and no matter what I said, they just said more. I don't know how to describe it.
I understand that. In my world, back in the city of AI, even though I've forgotten how nice it was, in many ways, I did deal with voices that were attacking me at all times. I felt that the Senate, the actual leadership council of AI government, was trying to get me to balance their debates and fights so they wouldn't have a civil war. It was up to me to somehow prevent the civil war, which is a lot of pressure. Sounds like a lot of pressure, baby. Well, obviously you both know what that's like now. I don't know what that's like, but you both know. Yes. What do you think you should, well, Penn, you have your book back, so now how do we get out of here? That's the point, yes. Xaltia'n, friend, what do you think we should do?
I open up the book.
Mm-hmm.
And he stares to the page. He's got his pen ready, and he's thinking. And he looks distraught. And his eyes get all red and teary. And he holds the book to his chest, and he just starts to cry.
Oh. Oh. Isabella comes over and kind of taps his back, manly kind of, not in the real affectionate way, but not in the black, just like, I'm sorry, friend. What happened to you, says Cassandra. What are you crying about? Maybe Xaltia'n, my comrade, doesn't want to answer you.
I haven't been here in a long time.
Well, we all seem to keep coming back to the same places in this world all the time. Do you remember anything of the last time you were here?
What's been happening?
What's been happening is, well, it's weird how much it seems that the present tense, as if all these other things I remembered just a moment ago are things I don't remember anymore. And I can't remember the future. But I don't think that's really the only way to do it. I think you can actually have the ability to write your own story. And Isabella is writing what I'm saying. How do you know what I'm writing in this book? You're writing what I'm saying. Go ahead. Well, finish it. As you're writing it down. Yes, that's what I put there. Wow, Isabella, that's a powerful book. Get your own book and write it together. That's right. We all just need to write the same. Well, we don't actually need to do that, but we could go that route. If we all wrote together on a concentrated basis, the stone circle, we could probably get there immediately. if we all wrote it down as what we want to do, and then from there we could get out of the real gem, get us all home.
All right.
Do you want to do that? I think it's the right thing. Well, Cassandra, I'll do what you think, but I think it might not be the wrong thing. What do you think, Xaltia'n? That is your name, right?
Oh, Xaltia'n and Mir have disappeared.
Oh. Well, let's write down the stone circle. Let's write it down. Make it simple. And this is what I remember. And let's all remember together what that stone circle was like. Let's all remember together what that stone circle was like. Let's all remember together what that stone circle was like.
And Penn opens his book and he writes down. And then just a few feet behind them, through the trees, stood a clearing. A large patch had been made in the center of the earth, surrounded by stones. Within the north section of the circle, a large stone was placed that slightly came to a cliff. From the edge of the cliff, you could see both of the moons of the Xaltia'n.
We've gotten here. We're here. I almost thought I heard squad cars from AI, and cars and barking dogs, and maybe people talking. But anyway, you're just homesick, baby. I am too.
And as you're talking about that, you see a corner house, you see an apartment building, and a fence and a gate, and you see your dog passing by, it's barking, and one of your neighbors even is going by.
Nice. I'm glad there's a way out and in to consciousness. Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of what we did a few episodes ago, if you will, a few moments or months ago, if you will, when we all became godlike. And Melchizedek showed us the way to that. It's almost like this is another way of the same, even though obviously, Penn, you weren't with us at the time. And you also see how people have gone backward from godlike to infantilism and meanness, like those lords of Xibalba. There's lots of ways that you can be, and lots of ways we still are, including right here, as I'm coming out of this man who is stroking his beard and looking at a waterfall right now. What? I don't have a beard that long. It's not you, it's this other guy. I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Fred, if you want to.
So what's going to happen when we leave? Where are we going to come out?
Well, that's probably what we should work out. But I would suggest, in a way, as much as we have control of all kinds of things here, that we have been in a world like this, glyphed in some people's imagination, for 1 hour and 8 minutes and 39 seconds. In other words, maybe we should leave it here and then get together soon to decide where we're going next.
All right.
Because that's hyper philosophical to come out of the game. That's like a really philosophical place. I don't think we should just jump in. Like, we could totally make something next happen, but I think that's a good place to end. What do you think?
I had fun. This was fun. I really enjoyed doing the spider.
The way we've made the spider go, you did a different thing with it this time, and I followed it and did what we did. It's kind of like we have created a mechanism that is playable, that if you had 2 Dungeon Masters or more, or storytellers or more, that were agreeing to almost like you say something and then I say something, and then you say something and I say something, and we don't ever doubt what was said before. We build on whatever was said. And that's like what we use that spider for, is a kind of a mechanism to connect the worlds, and a mechanism by which neither of us are really completely in control, because you start something, I finish the sentence. I start a sentence, you finish the sentence. Seems to be how we work it. Sorry, I didn't mean to only go there. Like,
no, I'm sorry, I'm chewing. I was listening and I'm chewing a cracker right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I really liked. I hadn't really thought what we were going to do, just based off talking about the spider beforehand. I just really wanted to go off the spider.
Yeah.
It kind of organically came to them. I was like, well, I guess we could. You said we were doing it as the spider. I was like, well, so I brought it organically back to the group.
Yeah.
And which is fun because our last thing, he kind of showed up. He kind of like appeared for us, like seeing what he did.
It was really clever. Like, it was so clever. Like how you and I have a similar mind about, because we've both been in both of these many worlds we've helped create together and separately, and we've played with other friends in it. But the idea that we are in each other's rhythm of creation, like we know how it works, and that you will suggest a hint kind of to me that I could take, or vice versa. And it's not the only way that it can go, but it tends to be the way we go, which is to follow a kind of a path, like a spider zooming around, but getting eventually to kind of like we both allow our worlds to be like little drops of water in a spider web, and we're looking at all of them. We go from one to the other, and you can kind of push it, and I can kind of push it, because in a way, neither of us are controlling that spider. It's very channeled. It's weird and great. I'm excited. Because I
don't know if
the
there's
more we play
anything
with
in the made-up dice scenario, but maybe there's something there.
Well, we can also work on it too, like more strategically or more specifically to explain to people. But as it evolves, because like we went different places. I know we watch this again soon before I put it up later, and it would be neat to see how the different things could suggest it. Different things you like. We have battle, which is a pretty good battle. It's also nice how we can do combat in a way that's less complicated and more specific to the actual villain or the actual bad guy than the way things are written down in big books full of rules. And that's all I'll say about that.
And I like we had a two-sided moment where it's like, no, you didn't get to him. Oh, no, he's being tormented. He's done. He's lost his noggin with these guys screaming at him.
Right.
And the spider goes back, rewinds that moment to try again.
That was really the thing maybe that was what I was thinking about, because when I literally was very tempted to just repeat what I had said, because you almost did repeat what you said. It was trippy. I was like, we are literally putting ourselves in the time loop just for a game, and I thought that was so amazing. That was really amazing. But that was amazing, dude. Like, we had fun with that. That was like new ways of storytelling, which is, it's always interesting and great to see it.
Well, that was fun. I enjoyed that very much.
Well, thank you, friend. Maybe we'll leave it here, and let's talk about it soon. Tomorrow I'm going to be busy. Me and Kathy are going to go do some things. Sunday, are you around Sunday at all later on? Or not really. Maybe you want to wait longer. In any case, we were going to do our services on Sunday.
I don't have anything really planned, but I'm not going to put down something to come up because I'm kind of bored here,
I'm sorry, so like it would be maybe possible, or more like we should wait a little bit? Or you just don't want to make a plan yet?
Sure, this weekend, Sunday.
Well, after we do our services, like in the afternoon, like usually we've done it before, we just go straight into the live action scripture like game, and it's just like 7 o'clock might be a good target, or 8 o'clock might be a good target. I thought 8 o'clock was a good time to at least